Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is your host Hamza, and today we have our first video podcast. I hope so you enjoy and you will love it. You'll support us. And let's go to today's guest, Mr. Fardeen Zahedi. He has been my colleague for more than 2 years. And as you know, I'm an English instructor at one of the academies. And today we have requested him to be here, to be present, and we're going to talk about. I wanted to make this episode a little different because by the time I started learning English, I grew up in an English environment, and then it has transformed my life. Exactly. That's what we are going to discuss. Why is English important, and how did Mr. Zahedi he learn English, and what is his opinion, and what are his suggestions, and what are some tips that he will, of course, share with us? We will get to know more. So I would like to start from a very easy question. First of all, welcome. I'd like to start from a question. Of course, questions about English are easy for you. How has English been a life-changing skill for you or a language for you? Could you express your opinion or express your fact about it? How has it been a life-changing skill?
Thank you so much. And also, as you said, that we have some commonalities here. We have the same case. We both are actually in the pursuit of making people able to speak English. So actually, English is not just a language. English has been also power among the people in the world, especially among the countries and the continents. So I mean that English is powerful language, and also it has enabled the people to reach the things that they wanted and they or actually aspire for a long time. But here, in my own point of view, English is not something very hard, and also it needs some courage, or we can say it just needs some gut, and also to become a good speaker, maybe, or a good learner. But it needs a few points to consider.
All right. So we'll go to the points later. And you talked about English is a power. And this power is a powerful word. And I would like to know more about that. Like, how is English a power? What do you mean by that? Also, I have my own definition for that, of course. Well, what about you? What do you think? What do you mean by power? English is a power.
So actually, the power itself means that the people have a lot of capacities and abilities to do something. So here, English has made the people use the language all around the world. And besides these points, lots of governments cannot remove English from the curriculum, especially lots of Asian countries, maybe they are in contrast to English language, but they have to use it and they have to learn it. So if it's widely spoken around the world, and if it's a kind of compulsory thing for the people to learn in today's world, so it shows its power.
Oh, true indeed. As in terms of amount, the Kuwait dinar is the most powerful currency. But in terms of power, strength, usage, and dollar is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So because it's widely used, that's why you think it's power. And also it's creates opportunities. That's why it's a power. So it is for capacity. That's why it's a power. All right. And you talked about some tips, like there are some tips to consider to learn, speak, write, or whatsoever about English. What are those? Could we know that?
Yes, exactly. So actually, when you want to learn a new language, you're like a child was actually recently born. So here, if you want to master, for example, language, which is your target language, you have to have lots of inputs firstly, because if you don't have any inputs, you're like a child, and also you can't produce anything because an empty mind doesn't have anything to share with other people. So first you have to receive things, and then you can produce it. And also here, consistency over the things that you want to do is also the key to success in language learning. For example, if I want to work on the language for 1 month, so it's not actually enough for me because just maybe for 2 years, and then I just want to leave it this way in its half, and then I just want to start again 2 years later. So I have to proceed again, and I have to take the same amount of time that I already took in the past. So it means we have to have consistency too.
All right. So consistency and think like a child. When you learn something, when you think like a child about it, that I'm a child in it. So uh, most of the people, unfortunately, they have little knowledge about something, very little, and they think they know a lot. And it creates confidence, and as well as it creates a sense of ego, I believe. So you talked about receive. What we have to receive first.
So aren't you the things that you can digest, like stomach? For example, if I don't know anything about English, then I just want to go to TikTok, or I just want to listen to the things which we never know, understand even single words. So it's going to be over my head. We can say it's going to be something super difficult, and I get discouraged instead of getting encouraged to learn it. So we have to start from the primary point of our learning. We can say, let's start from the primary things, the basic things to proceed, and then we can go ahead in the process of getting acquainted with the language more and more. By the time we get actually the point in which we have lots of advanced things too, but we have to be so patient. We shouldn't be in a hurry. For example, if we say that we can grasp the language in 6 months, no, it's not possible actually. We can do it, but not in that extent to be acceptable for us or the people around us. We just can be kind of good communicative with people on other things to achieve.
All right. And I believe a receive by means to listen a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do the listening. I mean, they can listen to what we're doing right now, right? So listen to podcasts, maybe listen to short stories. That's what actually you meant to receive. Yes, have input. When you don't have input, you cannot produce outputs.
Yeah, but actually receiving the input's also kind of systematic, and also it's somewhat strategic. It means it's not just about watching videos or movies without any purpose. So we have to have a specific purpose to listen to something. For example, I want to focus on the vocabulary of that video, so I have to be with that purpose up to the end of this video. I want to imitate or copy the people in the same way they pronounce the words, so I have to have this purpose from the beginning to end. If I just want to watch the videos or movies without any purpose, it's going to be so difficult and also too tiring for me to actually improve myself. And you should have purpose.
Purpose. Yeah. So now I want to ask you, how did you become a fan of English, let's say?
Actually, English has been a part of my life since childhood. For example, at the age of 5, I started to learn ABC. And for the time, and the more I grew up, I started to become more and more, can say, good person in this language. But besides, it has been a good passion for me. Sometimes the people don't follow their passion, so I wanted to follow the thing that I like. So it was a kind of like for me, not the thing to be obliged to do, to be compulsory to.
All right. So you mean since childhood?
Yeah.
You started learning English and passion. Of course, you must have passion for something if you really want to pursue or you really want to be successful at it. Example. Okay. At what age did you become a fluent speaker of English? Do you remember?
Yes, exactly. And I just want to remove a kind of misunderstanding of all the people about fluency. Fluency is not just about speaking fast. Fluency is about being natural. And being natural is being fluent.
Well, yes. Yeah, I believe some people, they have this kind of, I don't know, it's a skill. They mimic some um, foreigners, yes, the native speakers. Some people, they mimic British people.
Yes,
Some,
they vocalize it a lot.
yeah, they vocalize it and they speak like out talking. No, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I've been telling these people, be natural. Of course, you have to learn the pronunciation of the words. You have to learn. You don't need actually to learn the accent. I believe. Yeah, I believe you don't need to learn the accent. You just learn the pronunciation, and the accent is automatic. Yeah, that happens, I guess. Yeah, because it's all about pronunciation. And what do you say to those people that they mimic others? They mimic native speakers. And I also have seen this, unfortunately, they watch a lot of videos that instructors, coaches, and tutors, teachers, they say mimic, for example, great speakers like Obama, like George Bush, like take any English speakers or native speakers. What do you say to those who mimic, native English speakers?
Yeah, actually, as far as I know about the researchers and also about the studies that have been done in this area to understand whether it's actually important or not, actually, we have two rules here: imitation and also repetition, but not the way to become a kind of person who's not actually natural. So we have to keep it natural too. And this strategy is called shadowing. So we have to copy the people in that way, but to become a natural person, not to be an actor. Being an actor is very easy for you to be an actor, but to be a natural person in that field is so hard. And to reach that point, you have to be natural from the beginning. If you once get used to that situation, you're going to have the same situation up to the end of your life. And sometimes, even if you don't want to be in that way, you're going to be exposed to be in that way. It means to choose that you're not natural.
Or I remember I started the English when I was in class 4. When I was in class 4, I started learning English. We had the first teacher we had he was an Afghan, of course. He was speaking like he pretended to speak like Americans, which which helped me to speak like him. But I didn't know what he's talking about because I was really, really a kid. But when I was in class 5, 6, 7, I went to UAE. I started thinking about my teacher that he was right, but Indian accent is not my thing. Remember, Indian accent is not my thing. I don't like it. I tried to speak like, I tried to copy the American accent. What I started copying the American speakers since I had a memory of my first English teacher. So, but my classmates, they used to make fun of me, but in my heart, I used to make fun of them because Indian accent is truly and really funny. And then the teachers actually, they loved it. And they like encouraged me, motivated me, and they were like clapping for me when I was speaking in the accent that I have right now. Actually, it was not as strong as it is. Actually, it was not as strong as it is right now. So imitation is good, as you say, but making it as a habit which becomes acting is right. That is the worst part. Yeah, indeed. Also, we talked about receiving. You have to receive things, but you have to receive it with a purpose. See? What is the definition of purpose for you?
So purpose can be small target that you've got, and it helps you to reach something bigger.
Indeed.
Yeah, but it takes some time. It's maybe so difficult for you, maybe so discouraging, but it's going to have some great ultimate achievements.
All right. But I'd like to put it in this way. Purpose is what we are here for. Without purpose, the life is a desert. But purpose makes you wake up every morning. Purpose makes you work. Purpose makes you wise. Purpose can do a lot of things actually.
Yes.
So you have to start with a purpose. Like, what's your purpose? What was your purpose when you started learning English? Why did you start learning it?
So I told you that English was a part of my life. Besides, I wanted to learn it to solve my problems. I told you it was the language of power, so I thought that it has some value or importance in the world, so I wanted to learn it too. But I wanted to convey to the other people too in the correct way, in the proper way to understand how to use this language. Because sometimes you see that the students are actually learning English language in the wrong way from the basis, or we can say from the foundation, when they want to start studying. Well, I wanted to remove this point and also to make the people learn it in the proper way and to be good from the beginning to the end.
Wow. You talked about the base. Foundation is important, right?
Yeah.
Some people, they ignore the foundation, especially when you want to know that 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. Before that, what do we have to know? We have to know what 2 is.
Yes.
Like, we have to know 2 plus 2, and then we have to know 2 minus 1. And then we gotta get to the multiplication and so on. So what was the base of English for you?
Something that I want to tell you, and also I want to share that with other people, that English is not the legacy. Okay, for example, we want to follow our teachers or the people who are our mentors, and they want to teach us something. Sometimes this legacy, we can say this pursuit, can be leading us to the wrong way. Actually, I experienced this one practically. I want to tell you how to tackle the situation. For example, for the first time, I wanted to follow my English teacher. Now he's living in America. And he taught me something in the wrong way. When I went to the course and I wanted to teach the same thing that I've already learned, to try it in the wrong way. And the wrong way. Once my student stood right there and actually found my mistake in my teaching. And at that moment, I thought that's no.
How long that was?
How long ago? Actually, it was for the first time when I went to the class to teach.
All right.
Yeah.
So it was your first day of the class.
Yeah.
First time teaching.
Yeah. I wanted to pause all down.
I want to make that more for the viewers. I want to make it more deeper. How old were you? Like with the first time you started teaching?
I was about 15 to 16 years old.
Wow. 15. Sorry. Mistakes at that age, making mistake is something natural.
Yeah. But I learned to research it. So it should be a part of your learning. For example, I want to follow my teacher, but I don't know what is right or wrong.
All right. So you went to the class and you taught like the teacher, you're the mentor.
Yeah.
That who had taught you something. And then the student stood up and he said something like, what was that?
Yeah. For example, I'll never forget that, for example, it was a pronunciation of a word. And I pronounced that in the wrong way. And also, I translated some words in the wrong way. And that we have passage.
So you attacked the students with mistakes.
Yeah. At the moment, I didn't have lots of facilities to research and to find mistakes, actually.
It was 2000, I guess, 2000.
Maybe 2016.
2016. Well, unfortunately, our country is always behind. Oh, we didn't have facility. Yeah, we did. Okay. So since then,
actually, I wanted to research what I've already learned. I think that I started to proceed learning English. I thought it was actually, again, I went back to 10 years ago. I started to learn it from the very, very beginning. It was so hard for me.
I'm boring.
Yeah, it's so boring.
Yeah, I guess. Yep. So I usually, as you know, I'm also an instructor. I I tell the students, when you start something, finish it. As we talked about it, consistency. Yeah, be consistent at it. Not just the other day, I had a live stream, and it's also there in YouTube. They can watch. One of the participants or audience, he asked me a question. He said, when I start a new habit, I want to develop a new habit, I just do it for 4 or 5 days or a week, and then I leave it. And then I said, first of all, you don't have consistency. And after that, you have to make discipline. Discipline your thoughts, discipline your life, discipline your actions. Only by discipline you can achieve something bigger. Doesn't matter what situation it is. So I believe in consistency. I believe in discipline. I believe in focus. We gotta have focus. We gotta have discipline. We gotta have consistency. When you focus, you learn. And you have consistency, you create discipline. You can achieve anything.
If consistency were important for us, we wouldn't be here at this moment and at this hour.
Well, yeah, it's late, really late. Should I say the top? Well, it's all right. Okay, it's too late. We're here, we're recording, but it has other purposes also. It's not because we're lazy, we like record it late at night. It has many other purposes. Because it's too quiet. Yes, it's too quiet. No distraction, no sound, nothing. You love that. All right, consistency and the base. You have to learn something from the base. Actually, guys, if you see, we're not giving only information, only tips about English. It's life. Yeah. Now, I always wanted, if I ever wanted to marry somebody, I would start everything from the base. Now, you might ask why. Because when at the start of life, you clear everything up, there are minor problems, of course, it's life, but there won't be lots of problems in the future. So that means base is important. You have to construct a very strong base. All right. So power up, receive. And what has been one of your approaches that made you choose or have these British accents? What is the story behind that? I really want to know.
Is my accent British?
Looks like, sounds like to me. I don't know about the others.
Actually, I've been so interested to learning the British accent, but I couldn't ever master it in the best way because ever I wanted to master this accent, I found it so hard for the people to understand me. So I wanted to be American, but sometimes I want to be British. And then I've got a mixture of both. Yeah, some or times I want to pronounce the words in the British and sometimes it goes to American accent.
That isn't a problem, but people understand, of course.
Yeah.
And I'll just you a very, guys, this is serious. 2 questions. First one. What is the worst compliment you have got? And 2, what was the best compliment you got? First, let's talk about yours.
The source is important.
All right, good. Yeah? From good. This is back from students, let's say. From students. The worst compliment you have ever got.
Okay. Actually, the worst compliment was for one of my students. He said that your teaching is actually the worst for me because you're teaching.
Again, I want them to know how long ago, because 2 years, 3 years, 4 years they have to do.
No, in these days, actually.
Okay, recently.
You know what? Because it was so complicated for those people to understand me. And that's why it was the worst teaching for them.
Okay, because they hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I gotcha. Because they've been in pursuit of the wrong way to grasp the language. And once they see the pure English, they think that we are wrong. Aha. Yeah. And what the best compliment was actually,
if you don't mind, could you share with us what was the compliment?
Worst compliment, actually. The worst compliment was that your teaching is the worst. Just leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Okay. What was the best compliment?
And the best compliment was that please teach us up to the end of your life.
Wow. That's 2. And as I could say, I'm not big fond of compliments. So let's go to the most important part of English and why we talked about English. And importantly, nowadays, at this time, in 2027, 21st century, in the era of AI, machine learning, robots, internet, I guess we have 6G internet as well, yeah? I guess it's in Japan. 5G, I guess. I just saw it 5G. What do you think where we use English nowadays?
So let's dive into this part. The first, I don't know, we can say the first area in which we use English is as a global language of communication. Actually, wherever you go, you can use this language as the medium of instruction. So this medium of instruction is used actually to solve your problems, to communicate with the other people, to do something, even if you're going to the market to buy something, to go to the store to buy something. So we can solve your problems. And this is actually a medium for you. Okay, solve your problems for communication. Also, dual language of communication.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I knew English. I was in class 7. My dad used to take me to his office. And because he had lots of contacts with the Chinese people or Chinese, he would tell me write the email. So just imagine how powerful this language is. All right. What are some other areas of using English?
Some of the most important, also the most significant parts of English in which you use it is getting access to information. For example, as a student, whenever you're assigned to do some researches, you can go to different sources and sites to find information, but the best information is actually written in English. And also, sometimes you want to get to know about the news about the world, so you can watch the English news. For example, in the educational context, for example, when you want to go to the foreign countries and you want to study your education there in one of the universities, so it's also used there as the medium of instruction to teach the subjects. Besides, we can also use that as the medium of finding career opportunities, right? So, for example, if you want to apply for the jobs, so in a multinational company, so we use English because it is something so common among the people. And we can use it when you want to travel to other countries as the exchange of culture and language. You can use English, and you can navigate the countries and the continents. The more you go away, the more you need to understand English to use it and to solve your problems. You also mentioned something about machine learning, something else. So that's called tech world, we could say, or the innovations we see in today's world. That's all because of English, because English has been the language of programming, for example. It has been language of technology in today's world, except some other international languages that have been added to these machines or devices. But English is something the most preferable language to use in that technology part. And so we had lots of areas in which we can use English, but these ones are the most important ones.
All right. Yeah, but let's take an example. For example, I want to search something in another language. It takes me a long time to find. It doesn't matter where it is, especially Google. I used to Google it a lot. By the time you start typing H into the Google, it says, "Did you mean how?"
Yes.
That starts because I believe it's a language of tech, economy,
Scholarships, education.
everything. It's the language of anything. So I would like to wrap up this episode. So if you really want to have the opportunities, there are two things. First, If you have the money, I mean, lots of money, you're really wealthy. Actually, the money, you don't need education. Yes. But as per as we are the middle families, we need opportunities. And if you want to have those opportunities, you need the English language.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'd like to say the ultimate part of our podcast. That's the success to get something is not just the thing that people think, like learning English, but the thing which makes the people reach their success with flying colors is just to have consistency. And that's the only point we can find in any paths to achieve.
Yes. I would like to add up to that consistency, discipline, and focus. Just for 5 + 1 month, that means 6 months, you can achieve anything you want.
Yes, exactly. That's all.
Salute.